Welcome back. Today I am going to speak to you about a speaker that is only £200, $250, $300 each. So we're talking low end. Now a lot of people have asked me to review speakers that are more affordable so that I can give you my 2 pence on whether they sound any good or not. So today we are reviewing the JBL 3 Series Mark II. So you can see it's a kind of mid-field, near-fieldy kind of speaker. Now before I carry on, if you like these kind of videos, I do long videos every week, do loads of shorts too, so make sure that you hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed because if most people aren't, basically, that watch my videos, so make sure you are, and then it'll make you worth doing. Anyway, this is the JBL. I got this in. It's not an ad, by the way, because I know a lot of people in the comments always say, oh, your channel's turned into an ad channel. It hasn't. I never do any ads for anything. I'm not paid for anything. There's no money in it, basically. Music people don't want to pay you for ads, so I would do some if people want to pay me, but they don't. So I bought these so that I could review them. So these are the JBL 3 Series Mark II. Now it's not massively heavy, as you can see. It's I can do it. They're rear ported, so you don't want it too close to the back wall. It's got a balanced input. It also has a jack input. It has some boundary EQs, as they call them these days, but essentially all that is a low end and a high end kind of trim. So the closer you have this to the wall, you're better off probably trimming a little bit off in the EQ. So they're just like little pots. Does -2 to +2 and -3 -1.5. So basically the closer it is, the more boom bass you're going to have, so you turn it down. And it's got a volume knob and an input sensitivity. Good thing about this volume knob, because if you remember, I reviewed the Adam speaker that's in the same category as this, which has also got an 8-inch woofer on it. This is a stepped pot, which is super important because it means that you're going to be able to set it up a little bit easier than if it was just sweeping and you don't know exactly where you are. So pretty handy. I think they look all right. I mean, don't know what you think, but they're kind of got this glossy front on them. Look very snazzy, don't they? I mean, they use a lot of JBL stuff for the film business. They have a lot of film cinema stuff. So you don't necessarily come across them that much in recording studios and mastering studios. But I think they're trying to make a few inroads with this one. Now it's got these are kind of plasticky. They're quite nice looking. You know, it is what it is, really. You know, it's 250 quid each one, so you're probably talking, I don't know, I think they're about £400 I paid for them. So how do they sound is the main thing we want to know, isn't it? So I've had the Adams ones plugged in downstairs whilst I'm working in my office for a while, and they've always sounded alright. I've been quite impressed with those. So these ones I plugged in as well a couple of days ago instead of those, just so that I can get a kind of reference point of where we're at with these kind of speakers, and they sound all okay. Now, first thing I noticed was they're lacking a bit in the low end, but if you watch my stuff often enough, you know that I always think that these sort of speakers, when you've got a two-way speaker, should have a sub with them as well, because then this speaker is only dealing with the mid frequencies, this is dealing with the highs, and then you throw the sub and noise off into the sub. They go down to 37 hertz. It doesn't seem like I can hear anything at 37 hertz on them, if I'm totally honest with you. They seem like they're like 50 hertz and higher, maybe 60, which is why I think you'd probably want to get a sub with them as well, and then I think they'd play better, because then this speaker isn't like trying to do loads of work. At first impression was a bit low, but they didn't go low, but my other first impression was the stereo image was super tight and really good. So they had really good imaging for the sort of size of the speaker. So that was a real plus point. I thought the top end was okay, not as detailed as the Adams that I had, but detailed enough. But then the more I listened to them, I actually found them quite flat and a bit boring. I couldn't hear a lot of detail. I could hear detail, but it's not something that I'd want to work on, I don't think. So I wasn't massively over impressed with them. They didn't get me excited. They didn't want me to play my music through them. You know, I wasn't thinking, oh, what's this track going to sound like? What's that one going to do? It just was a little bit, yeah, it's a speaker. And for me, that wasn't that exciting. I'd rather, you know, I want to hear more detail in the mids and the tops. I know that they're cheap and I know that they're not key speakers, but I still think I've listened to enough speakers of this size and they just were a bit boring and a little bit, not enough detail for me in the mids and stuff. Like I say, maybe if you threw off a lot of the bass weight into a sub and let them play a bit more. Maybe this might bring you a bit more detail out. Stereo image, superb. They're okay for the money, they're okay. They look the part. So if you're looking for a kind of budget speaker, 250 quid each, have a listen. You know, speakers are very much dependent on the room. So these could sound great in your room and some other ones could sound rubbish. But as I say, try and get the sub. If you've got two-way speakers, always try and get the sub, or buy yourself a set of like three-ways which are a similar size, but you're going to be paying a bit more for that. But it might work out the same, two speakers and a sub, or a three-way. Three-ways are always better in a smaller room, I think. Anyway, that's it. That is the JBL Series Mark II. Make sure you like this video and tell me if there's any speakers you want me to listen to, or if you've heard these, stick that in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.